Welcome back, you guys. Hope you're having an amazing day today. This weekend, we have some serious business to attend to. It's London Derby time at the Bridge, 4:30 p.m. UK time. This Sunday, we play against Tottenham. So, of course, there's only one man I can bring on, of course, to discuss all things Spurs, so we can learn some more insight behind their improvements under our former manager in Antonio Conte. So I'd love to welcome you guys onto a very special guest and welcome We Are Tottenham TV. How are you doing? And how's your season going? Of course, spectacular start to the season, a very convincing win, and I think to start things off, I'd love to get some insight and context behind that Premier League opening day win for you guys against Southampton.
Yeah, I mean, look, you've got to look all the way back to when Antonio Conte actually took over from Spurs. And, we were going through a torrid time. We didn't see any light at the end of the tunnel with Nuno. We were struggling to get shots off on target, never mind win games or score goals. We really were. And Antonio Conte comes in and everything has changed, literally. He brought structure to the team. He brought hope and dreams to players like Harry Kane and Heung-min Son, because Harry Kane was dying to leave the club before Antonio Conte come in, and he's given Harry Kane a new lease of life at Tottenham Hotspur. He's given the team structure. Like I said, defensive display has been much better. We actually kept our record number of Premier League clean sheets last season under Antonio Conte, which is actually mad to think when we had such a poor start to the season.
Yeah.
And then January comes, and nobody thinks about Spurs making top four, even in January. By the end of January, we've picked up Kulusevski and Rodrigo Bentancur, and that really helped us propel to the Champions League and the Champions League spots and pip Arsenal right at the end, which was absolutely amazing to watch that last few weeks of the Premier League campaign. And then the summer comes and everyone's being like, look, Antonio needs to be back. He needs to be back, because everyone knows if Antonio doesn't get back, I mean, you guys know more than us. You know what I mean? If Antonio doesn't get back, he's just going to walk.
He's not a very happy man. Yeah,
exactly. He's not taking any shit if he doesn't get back. Then we all know, with the history of Daniel Levy and what's gone on with other managers, everyone had a lot of anxiety. Is he going to get back? If he doesn't get back, where does this leave the club? Because if you sack Maurizio Pochettino, you sack Jose Mourinho, and Antonio Conte walks out on you, where do you have left to go?
Yeah.
Like, there's not many more managers out there, and who's actually going to come and work under Daniel Levy? But the fact of the matter is Antonio Conte was backed, and he's brought in players of his mould, strong, physical players, quick players, technicians as well, in Basuma, Richarlison, Clement Longley, Perisic as well. We've brought in some top talent this summer. And this is exactly what we've needed. Everyone's been saying, like, this is the first time Spurs have gone into a season with actual quality and strength and depth. You're looking at the bench last season and you didn't know who to bring on because there wasn't really any options off the bench to change a game. And now you're looking at the bench in that Southampton game, and you're bringing on the likes of Bissouma, you're bringing on the likes of Perisic, Longley, a lot of good players there. Richarlison wasn't even in the squad that game, and we won 4-1. So I think that Spurs fans are in a very, very positive mood at the moment, and that Southampton game really encapsulated really the mood of our team and our players and our fan base, because you're looking at that game against Southampton, and it's a game we actually lost last season at home 3-2.
Yeah.
And to turn that result around, to win 4-1 in the manner that we did in our biggest win of first game of the season since something like 1985 or something silly like that, in a 4-1 win. So I think that's the kind of story leading up to the first game of the season. I still think we need a couple more to really solidify our place, and maybe to cut the gap a little bit on Liverpool and Man City. I'm not deluded enough to think that we can finish above them, but we need to cut that gap into the next season where we can maybe bridge it further. But I think things are very positive at Spurs at the moment, and I'm loving the way there's literally just such a good atmosphere on the stands, in the stadium. You're seeing the camaraderie between the team as well. I mean, I haven't seen this since the peak years of Poch, so things are looking very positive at Spurs at the moment.
Okay, that's very, very insightful to understand what's happening right now. I guess to move on, let's cast our minds back to last season, Carabao Cup. all those 3 games during January and at the time. And so
you had to
Conte,
bring this up, didn't you? You had to bring
I had
this up.
to, because for me, like for us fans, we can really understand just how much you guys have improved and feel ready to compete against us, of course, this Sunday. But Conte himself was saying that you guys were far behind us. And in those games, we took a lot of control and played with a lot of confidence and really caused you guys a lot of issues and punished quite a lot. Do you feel like Spurs now have really leveled up a lot more now since all those games back in January?
Absolutely. I really believe that, because you got to remember when we played you at those times, first of all, it was the very early stages of Antonio. He was learning the team and everything like that. But on top of that, we actually had a lot of injuries at the time. We played a back 3 at Stamford Bridge, I think in the cup game of Japhet Tanganga, Davinson Sanchez, and Romero, I think it was. So 2 of those players won't be anywhere near the starting lineup this weekend. You've got Harry. We had Harry Winks in there. I mean, he wasn't even taken on the pre-season tour this year. That's what Antonio Conte thinks of him. So we had a lot of players that are not going to feature at all. And on top of that, we never had Rodrigo Bentancur and Dejan Kulusevski as well, and all the new signings that we brought in over the summer. So I think that Spurs are in a completely different place to what we were when we played you those 3 times in a week.
Okay, that's a lot to, of course, understand. And I guess to really just like get even more insight, what are 3 of the key important improvements that Antonio Conte has brought to this new Spurs team?
Defensive stability is definitely one of them. I think that...
In terms of what though? In terms of like structure off the ball, in terms of like the fitness, like what are the details?
Well, fitness, 100%. I mean, the fitness between is completely night and day from now to what it was before Conte. The structure of the defense as well is absolutely unbelievable. Playing 3 at the back now. We very rarely concede over one goal a game. Since we've brought in the new players in Bentancur and Kulusevski. And not only is it the structure, but individually, you look at the players like Ben Davies and Eric Dyer. If I asked any random Spurs fan at the back end of the season last year, everyone would have said, yeah, get rid of Davies, get rid of Dyer. And now they're actually so important to us. Ben Davies has been one of the most consistent performers under Antonio Conte. Eric Dyer, whenever he's out of the defence, our defence looks lost, because he's like the glue that sits in between the right and the left, in the centre, and he's got those leadership capabilities that can really shepherd that back line, really command that back line. And not only that, but you've got the shield in front of the back 3 in Højbjerg and Bentancur, who've done a phenomenal job as well. And Højbjerg has been super consistent as well. And I think Bentancur has really added, he's strong in the tackle, keeps things ticking along, and really lets the forward line really just go and do their thing. So I think there's been many different attributes why we've improved defensively, structurally under Antonio Conte, but the defense has definitely been a massive, massive plus for us. And like I said, 13 or 16 clean sheets last year. Unbelievable. When you look back at Pochettino's peak team, when we had Vertonghen, Alderweireld, Rose and Walker, we actually had better defensive record now.
Yeah, that's what Antonio Conte does. That's the magic of Conte in that sense. And of course, when you guys signed Bentancur, I remember seeing him for like the first time properly in the World Cup, I think in Brazil, all those years back, and just seeing how he plays at his own pace, that type of style behind his game, the confidence, and just how easy he moves the ball. I was a bit surprised that Juventus let him go, and I think it was a massive coup for you guys. And I was just thinking, okay, this is an upgrade signing that's gonna do things and add something to your team. And I guess now is the perfect segue now to move on to players that we need to watch out for. I want to ask you for your 3 main players that us fans need to prepare ourselves for.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously, everyone can always point to Kane and Son because they're absolutely, I don't need to tell you about Kane and Son.
They looked a tiny bit rusty in that game versus Southampton. It's just a tiny bit.
I would say against Southampton, Harry Kane wasn't involved as much as he usually is, but I think that whenever he drops deep, he provides positive to the team, spreads the ball really well. His passing ability is absolutely second to none. Heung-min Son, I actually don't think, he was rusty in front of goal because he missed some chances which he'll usually put away. But apart from that, he gave Southampton no end of problems that day. with his direct running in behind, crossing ability as well. So I think Sonny will be at it. No, I have no qualms about that. And Harry Kane, you know how much he loves a London derby.
Yeah.
So I think Harry Kane will be at it as well. But you've got to talk about Dejan Kulusevski, because he's completely revolutionized our attack. You're talking about going from Lucas Moura to Kulusevski, where Lucas Moura, as much as I love Lucas Moura as a player and individual and as a person, he always leaves you wanting more. His end product isn't the greatest. He can easily go missing in games as well, where Dejan Kulusevski seems to be just on it every game. Bang, bang, bang. For someone of his age that hasn't played in the Premier League before, I've never seen someone take to the Premier League as he has, like straight away from the first game. Like, the attributes he has is unbelievable. Like he's got this. He it seems like he's not fast, but he could take it past the man.
It's that speed of thought, right? It's that speed of thought. I mean, this guy had he had a massive reputation at Parma, and I think the thing with Antonio Conte, he knows how to build a team. Now, when he left us eventually, of course, we kind of did fail him in that window. He wanted targets like Sanchez, Van Dijk, Lukaku, and guys that he knows exactly what they're going to do to add to this team. And I feel like he's not very wasteful in terms of signing, if he has the board properly supporting him and getting the players that he wants, because he always knows what he needs to make it happen. And Kulusevski, really taking advantage of Juventus, where these guys didn't really have a proper role under Allegri, and they sold them for peanuts actually, considering how much they originally bought them for, and that their real potential and value. So it was no surprise to me. A guy with a left foot cutting inside as well. He can create, he can score, and just the speed of thought behind how he plays. Yeah, it was a pretty big hoop for you guys.
Absolutely. I mean, I genuinely think he's already the third best right winger in the Premier League, like under Mahrez and Mo Salah. I really believe that, genuinely. I mean, Arsenal fans come at me all day being like, "Oh, Saka's better than Kulusevski," but I'm not having that whatsoever. I'm really not having that. And another player which you need to watch out for is Christian Romero at the right centre-back role. I mean, when you're playing against Romero, you're in a war. He is going to make this game a war, and he's so physical. Loves the shithousery. Every game, he's got that South American shithousery. And not only that is in his defensive displays, but he's always up there creating another option for our attacking line as well. So I think he's a player that you definitely need to watch out for.
Okay, cool. I mean, we've got some, very spectacular insight, and I'm obviously hearing you talk as well. So I'm even more pumped now to go to battle with you guys this weekend. So I guess to end things, I need to get your match prediction, and I can imagine what you're probably going to say, but I'm looking forward to hearing your answers.
I'll tell you the truth, this is actually the most. I'm not going to say I'm super confident coming into the game, because Spurs against Chelsea, you could never be confident coming into a game like this.
Especially at Stamford Bridge too.
Exactly, because we've always got such a terrible record at Stamford Bridge. We do. Like, I've got nothing to hide here, but I think this is actually the most confident I've ever been coming into a game at Stamford Bridge, probably in my lifetime. This is not to say that I think that we're going to come and roll you over easy, because I don't think that. I think that you're obviously going to up your game, because it is a London derby, massive rivalry between the two clubs. There's a lot of players in your dressing room that know exactly what this game means. So I think I'm going to go for a Spurs win, but I think it's going to be a very tight game. But don't get me wrong, when I say this is the most confident I've been coming into this game, that's only because every time I come into this game, I'm just expecting a loss pretty much.
I mean, listen, I completely understand where you're coming from, and of course the improvements I think it's quite evident for everyone to see. For me, I've always felt like under Tuchel, when we play it in the big games, the way our system works, how the players play, we just go up another level that we don't always see all the time. So I do think that, of course, everyone's going to be fully pumped and ready, and we've all made a lot of signings now, I think, on our hands. We're just waiting for some of these guys to really bed in a little bit more, build a tiny bit more understanding. But adding Koulibaly, this guy is instant replacement for Rudiger, a spectacular player. Raheem Sterling, who already looks like he's going to add so much more. And Cucurella, wow. This guy really is a top-class player. I think it's nice to know that both teams have fully fit and fresh teams. So it will make this game even more competitive. And I guess for me, I'll give my match prediction. I can't go against my team. I think it's going to be quite tight. It's going to be one of those games where you're going to have to prove that you want it. And I'm going to be going for a 3-2 win. I think there's going to be goals, and I think that it's going to come down to who's able to get the first ones to control the game how they want to play it.
Yeah, I think that for my score prediction, I was watching you lot against Everton, and I really, to be honest, I wasn't impressed. Not going to lie. Obviously, you won it. You won it from a 1-0 Jorginho penalty, and you didn't really threaten Everton that much going forward. If I'm going to tell the truth, but it's going to be a different game this weekend, that's for sure. So I think you're definitely going to improve. You're going to have chances, but I just think we're going to nick it off you guys, and I think we're stronger going forward than you are. But I think you're stronger at the back than we are, potentially. So midfield battle is going to be interesting.
Oh, that's going to be a battle. Yeah.
It's going to be probably Højbjerg and Bentancur. Who they're going to be up against?
Probably Kante, I'd imagine. Maybe Jorginho, maybe Cover. I mean, we've got so much depth now as well. And the fact that all of us can turn to using 5 subs as well is really going to transform out this game like ebbs and flows. So all I will say, though, is that game versus Everton is a little fake in the sense that our one weakness is that we struggle against teams that just sit back, park the bus, and don't want to press us, don't want to do nothing. That's when we struggle. But when the game's more open, normally against bigger teams, the wing-back system really comes to life, the way the players move, operate. So I'm always going to think that we can do something in that game, basically.
Yeah, we won't be parking the bus like an Everton, but we won't be as open as a Liverpool or a Man City either.
Yeah.
So we're going to probably sit in like a mid-block. You know how Antonio Conte plays. I'm sure you're very used to the way Antonio Conte plays.
Yeah.
But my score prediction, I'm going to go 2-1 to Spurs.
Okay, cool. So 3-2 for Chelsea, 2-1 for Spurs. It's going to be a fantastic tactical battle between Tuchel and Conte. Yeah, we both use back 3 setups, but we play with our back 3 setups in completely different ways. So that contrast, of course, clashing against each other is going to make for a very special game, I'm hoping. So I'd like to say thank you for coming on. Of course, you guys, you know where to find them. To catch their match preview out, you'll find it in the description below and in the little tracking bar underneath as well. And on that note, I'm Nini FC. This is BlueLionsTV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos. Cool.